Hey guys, so before this 9 games that define me video starts, I want to do a quick shout out to a sponsor for this episode. It is Billy Comics. I know last week we had them too, and this week they're back again for more awesome comics. So, if you don't know what Billy Comics is, let's explain it real quick. Billy Comics are a great online manga reader for all age groups, with comics meant for anything you're into. If it's action, comedy, or fantasy, Billy has the comic for you with over 150 mangas, with new ones being updated or added every single day. So I've currently been checking out My Wife is Actually the Empress. I know, it's a weird thing to say, but it's a really cool story. It's not very long. It's only got about 26 episodes at the time of recording this, and it's all about how one of the toughest assassins in the entire realm finds out that his wife actually runs the realm that he's part of, and he had no clue about it. So it's an interesting story. It's got a little bit of comedy mixed in with action. It's very much worth the read for sure. So if that interests you, check the link in the description below. It's a unique creator code for me, so you can go check it out. And it also supports me, supports the channel and all that. And it means the world to me if you guys go check that out. An awesome manga doesn't come around pretty much often, so you can always keep track of some of the coolest manga available in the game right now. And I absolutely love it, so go check it out in the description below. But for now, let's hop into my 9 games that define me. Thanks for sponsoring this episode, Billy. Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. I am Crash Rowsell, and once again, time to Crash Scouts with this very special video here in the channel. If you guys didn't realize, a bunch of YouTubers recently have been talking about games that define them, or games that inspire them, or games that just throw back to their childhood, or something like that. For me, I watch those videos and I agree. There are a bunch of games that define who I am, and that's why I want to make the video today. So I thought this would be a fun video where I can sit down and talk to you guys about 9 games that define my life, to how I got to where I am today, because I mean, I feel like my entire life has revolved around video games, and that's not even a lie. I've been playing video games since I was like 3 or 4 years old with the original Mario and Duck Hunt, all the way up to, hopefully soon, getting a PlayStation 5, so I'll be continuing on the path throughout. The biggest thing is just know the only console I didn't have growing up was an Xbox, so I played basically everything else. But yeah, so what I did was I decided to pick one game from every like genre or typing in a way. So if there's a trilogy of games, I went with just one, except for a certain one, which I'll describe when I get there. But yeah, I decided just these 9 games because they define me the best they can. So this is going to be a discussion video, so let me know in the comments below your 9 games that define you. Don't just pick the 6 Skylander games and then come up with 3 other ones. Come on now, be creative about it. But yeah, let's get into it now, so this should be a good little discussion. So the first game that defines me is literally the game that defined my childhood, which is Spyro. And Spyro the Dragon to be precise. Now you're saying, so Crash, you said Year of the Dragon's your favorite video game of all time. It is. Year of the Dragon is my favorite video game of all time, but if it wasn't for the original Spyro, I wouldn't even have picked up Year of the Dragon. Think about that for a minute. Because if I played the first Spyro and didn't like it, I wouldn't have continued it. There's a few games that I got where I played the first game in the series and didn't really like it, so I never continued on. I never went on and continued any of those games in the series. And Spyro the Dragon is not one of those. I played Spyro, I went on to play Ripto's Rage, I went on to play Year of the Dragon, and I even played Hero's Tale Enter Dragonfly, even the Legend of Spyro series. But nothing beats playing the first game like this. I sit down and play Spyro the Dragon, whether it be the Reunited Trilogy or the original version, any version possible, at least once a year. Like, randomly, I'll just sit there and be like, I'm going to play the 3 Spyro games again. I'll sit on my Switch and play all 3 of the games. Usually I'll play Spyro the Dragon in its entirety in its first run. And this was the game that defined my childhood. This is the one that me and my friends would get together and discuss, like, oh man, I beat this one all the way. Did you know that there's a secret path over there? Or as soon as the moment we found it, we could jump on all those tiles in the waterfall. Wait till we found it. I went over to my friend's Jake house and I was like, watch this. And I did the jump. And he went, what? Oh my gosh. And we were like freaking out about that stuff. It was one of those games that I really had a childhood with, where like me and 3 of my other friends would constantly talk about this and try to beat it. And it's so funny because like looking at this game now, I can beat it in like 3 hours. And back then it took us like a month to actually beat it, and even then we never even got to Nasty's loot, which hilariously my friend Jake thought it was Nasty's foot, because if you look underneath you can look up and see, and he thought it was a foot, and I'm like, why is this Nasty's foot? I'm like, oh, Nasty's a foot maybe? But no, it was Nasty's loot. So this is literally the game that defined my childhood. It defined my entire life all the way up to now. It's literally the reason me and my girlfriend first started talking. That's not even a joke. Is when the Reunited Trilogy was coming out. She found out I was a Spyro fan, and I was getting the game. It was one of the first conversations we ever had. So, like, it literally defined my life, and it still is to this day, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But yeah, Spyro is definitely the first one on that list. And of course, I gotta talk about my namesake, even though it's not my namesake, Crash Bandicoot for the original PlayStation. This game has defined a lot of people's childhoods, and I think on everyone's list, this one is there, or at least an honorable mention, because everyone loved the Crash Bandicoot games. I prefer the first one over the other two. Crash Bandicoot and CTR kind of mushed together, if you think about it, because I love playing both of those so much, but Crash Bandicoot, the original one, was a game that again, connected me with friends and even family. Boulders in this game was the hardest level for me at one point, and the only two people that can beat it was my best friend Jordan and my sister. They're the only two who could beat this level for me. So anytime I'd restart the game, because I didn't have a memory card, or I would just restart from the beginning, I could never beat boulders. And I remember the one day Jordan was at the house and I tried it, and I beat boulders. And it's funny how I can beat this game now in one sitting too. When you get older, you get better. But it's just wild that like this game was one of the first ever games I ever owned. All the way up to this day, I can still play this game and love it, especially with the Insane trilogy, or Crash 4 that just came out last year, which is insane. We had a sequel to a Crash game in 2020, in that year of 2020. So, just looking at this game, this is the most defining one of my childhood. It's definitely Crash Bandicoot, in that it kind of grew with me, and it kind of like sat on the back burner, except for Spyro, which it kind of stayed with me the whole time. With Crash, it kind of just sat there and just grew slowly until like the remaster came out. And the Insane Trilogy was actually the first game I got on my PlayStation 4 because of the reason that was the only console I could play it on at the time. So I needed the Insane Trilogy. So yeah, Crash Bandicoot definitely on my list of the most, of the top, of one of the games that define who I am. And it's not my namesake. Crash is not from Crash Bandicoot. I don't care what y'all say. It is not. So I gotta have a Pokemon game on the list. There's a no-brainer. I was honestly thinking between two games. I was thinking between Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Black. I went with Gold, but I'll explain why I had Black too. When I didn't have a Game Boy Advance, so I never played the like Emerald, Ruby, or Sapphire. So I never got to play Generation 3. So my reintroduction to Pokemon really was Generation 4 with Pearl and Diamond. And I actually didn't enjoy those games, and I still don't enjoy those games. There's a remaster coming out, it's probably out by now by the time this video's out, and I'm probably playing it, and I might enjoy it. Hopefully it's a little bit better, but it wasn't until Black came out where I got back into Pokemon, and now I've been a hardcore fan ever since. But Pokemon Gold is literally my favorite generation. It has some of my favorite Pokemon in it, it has probably the best story in it, and the fact that you literally get two games in one when you can go over to the Kanto region and continue on. I'm currently playing Pokemon Gold on my phone with an emulator of a Stantler solo run, because I've never played as Stantler. I said, why not? And I'm past the 7th gym with them, dude. I'm doing good. So like Pokemon Gold is definitely that game where I played consistently, and I remember taking my Game Boy Color, my little teal Game Boy Color, everywhere with me, and like being in the middle of a battle, and my mom's like, okay, we gotta go. I'm like, well, I can't pause, I can't quit in the middle of a trainer battle. And just the story just keep building and building, and all the Pokemon you get and stuff, and then finding the evolutions to those Pokemon. I remember the first time I got Ampharos, one of my favorite all-time Pokemon. When I got a Mareep the first time, he evolved to Flaffy, and then evolved to Ampharos, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's evolving so much. And then seeing Togepi in the game, which you've seen from the anime, same with Meryl, and then seeing both of them got evolution, you're like, what? Togepi can evolve? So like, it was definitely one of those games that reintroduced me to a franchise that I already knew a lot about with Pokemon Yellow and Red, because those two games I own. Red's literally right here in my Game Boy, my Nintendo 64 transfer pack. But this game redefined my childhood. This is a game I played consistently. It's a game I'll still play to this day. I have emulators on my phone for a reason. And Gold is definitely my favorite one in the franchise, and it definitely defined my childhood. So this is the one I mentioned where I'm going to clump them all together. I'm going to go with the Sly Cooper Collection, or just Sly Cooper in general, because I couldn't pick just one of the 4 games. Honor Among Thieves, the 3rd game, is probably my favorite, but the Sly Cooper games came into my life at a really random time. It was one of those times where I was just hanging out with my friend, and he happened to have the 2nd game, and I just played it once. I was like, this is pretty cool. And then I happened to get a PlayStation 2, found all 3 of the games, and just played them consistently. I was like, man, this game is fun. It's got like this challenging aspect to it with the platforming and the fighting and using different abilities and all that stuff. And I thought it was really cool, the overall things you can do in this game and how much tongue-in-cheek comedy there was. The fact in the 3rd game you could play as multiple characters, not just like Sly, Bentley, and Murray. It's kind of cool, all the things you can do in this game, and it's just amazing that all three of these games, and then the fourth one that came out for the PlayStation 3 that got really mixed reviews, revolutionized me with platformers and just having fun with the game. This is the one game I never took seriously, and that's kind of defined who I am as a person, where I don't take things too seriously, because this game is about stealing things, but Sly Cooper's quips are extremely cool. And I absolutely love that he just, says whatever's on his mind and just talks away whatever he likes. And that's one thing I really like about this game. And definitely, if you've never played a Sly Cooper game or even known about it, you should go watch a playthrough of it. I would love to play this on the channel, but I just know it wouldn't go over well. So maybe I do a live stream one day of it. It's on PlayStation Now or something like that, so maybe I'll check it out. But regardless, this is definitely one of the coolest games ever, and you need to check it out. So I need to have Minecraft on here for two big reasons. One, I talk about Minecraft all the time. Whenever we have computers at my job, I literally say, "Can I run Minecraft?" And I met a ton of friends through Minecraft. Back when I first took YouTube a lot more seriously, I did a gaming channel called Pushpin Gamer. Maybe two of you guys might remember that one who's watching. And I used to play Hunger Games all the time on the homie server with Sly Foxhound, and I met some of my best friends on that. Millen, Nicole/Pickles, Powfly, Mally, Donnie, just to name a few of you. That's literally a handful of you. Spikus used to play on here all the time, same with Beast. Like, a lot of you guys are probably like, who in the world are these people you're name dropping? But like, these are some of my first ever online friends. They opened me to a whole new world of collaborations and just chatting with people online. And it's amazing because not too long ago I got an invite to a server where they got all this homie server back together, and it was just wild seeing all these names, being like, I remember playing with you or being in calls with you or just chatting with you, And this is the game that kind of brought us all together. It's the game where I would sit down for hours on end until about 3 or 4 in the morning playing Minecraft with these people, and it was crazy almost every single day. And it's wild to think that like they've all moved on to bigger awesome things. Pickles has a baby now. 2 babies. She has 2. I forgot about that. Good job, Pickles. So yeah, it's pretty. She has a gherkin. That's what we used to joke about. But Minecraft definitely changed my life in that aspect of the fact that it's still a game that I will play to this day. And absolutely love doing it, and the reason we got a new computer was so I can play Minecraft and a couple other games, but mostly Minecraft. So yeah, Minecraft definitely is a redefining game for me for that reason. So I could have picked one game, but just Assassin's Creed in general kind of defined who I am. I absolutely love this whole series. There's not really a bad game in the whole franchise. Is it Revelations? Yeah, Revelations is a little, and I'm not a big fan of 3. But the story that this game brought and just the unique aspect of the game is something that, kind of changed who I am. Like, every Assassin's Creed game I've played now, I've played all the way up to Valhalla, and I've beaten them all. And each one of them has a unique story that builds into it. Sometimes there's legit shocking moments, and the combat just gets better and all that. Now, they've drifted away from the Assassin's series. Like, if you play Valhalla now, you're basically playing a Viking game. And it's wild that the next Assassin's Creed is going to be the last one ever. And I'm excited to play that one once it comes out. And the rumors are that's going to be in China. So, like, that's going to be really cool. Like, literally assassins in China. That's the thing. Ninjas. It's going to be Assassin's Creed Ninjas. But this is a game that defined who I am, because I remember getting this game because a friend of mine mentioned it to me, and I decided to play it and absolutely loved it. And then, of course, Assassin's Creed 2 came out, which everyone talks about how that's their favorite Assassin's Creed. Mine is Black Flag, Pirates, and Assassins put together. It's so cool. That was where a lot of people said the game kind of started drifting off, which it makes sense. Edward was not an assassin. He literally just picked up the garb and became one, but he's a pirate. But then he learned about the code, which was awesome. So this is definitely a franchise that defined who I am, because this is a series that I could play from game 1 all the way up to Valhalla. Every single year they release like a new one type thing, and everyone just got a little bit better and better. And it's one of those games that I put so much time and money into just for getting the DLCs and all this stuff. So I absolutely love this. It's definitely my favorite franchise and definitely one of the things that define who I am. So for 7, I gotta go, I guess, with one of my favorite games of all time and how I'm such a big skateboarder. With Tony Hawk Underground 2. This one might be a little bit confusing for you guys since I picked Tony Hawk Underground 2 and not American Wasteland, since that's one of my favorite games of all time. If you watch my top 5 favorite games list, it's number 2 for that reason. But Tony Hawk Underground 2 was the first skateboarding game I ever played. besides for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, but I was at a friend's house. This is one I picked up for like, I think 20 bucks at a Walmart once and got addicted to Tony Hawk games. I love playing this one. I went back and bought the original Underground, then Wasteland came out, and I went back and played Tony Hawk 4, and I said, oh, I can't get off my skateboard, I don't care anymore. But I like this one because it had actual story, and it was just tongue-in-cheek, like grotesque humor most of the time, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And it's just pure fun. The games are fun. They're one of the most fun I've ever had playing a video game, is playing any of the Tony Hawk Underground 1, 2, or American Wasteland series. And then, you know, I fell off the wagon with Project X and Proving Ground, and like, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 got a remaster last year, and it was like literally riding a bicycle. I just hopped right back into it and realized I was playing the same exact game, except I couldn't get off the skateboard again. But it's just so much fun because it's one of those games you can sit down, you can play for hours on end, and just have a great time playing it. And Underground is just like that. I played all 3 modes, the 3 difficulties you can do, and unlocked all the characters and all that. And it was so much fun playing it and learning combos and actually becoming a really good player at the game. I think this is one of the games I can actually say I'm extremely good at. Like if there was a competition, I could probably hold my own. There was actually a local competition here once, and unfortunately, me and Dover, who's famously known for the 2019 Skyline Royal Rumble, we missed the date of it. So unfortunately, we missed the 2018, whatever Royal Rumble was. We missed the date for it, and I looked at him like, I could have won that. He's like, you would have won it. There's a difference. So I gotta say, Tony Hawk Underground 2 is definitely a game that defined me, who I am, and yeah, makes sense to me. So trying to think of like one of the last games I have was a little bit harder, but I went with Rock Band for the PlayStation 3 because this game is heckin' fun. It kind of opened me up for a vocalist. If you guys didn't know, I am a singer, and I do play a little bit of bass and drums, mostly singing though. And this is a game where I used to sit down with friends at my local rec center playing this and Guitar Hero. I remember me and my friend Paul playing this till about 3 in the morning at his parents' house once. Good thing they had a basement and they couldn't hear upstairs. Sorry, guys. This is a game that defined who I am, and I have so many fond memories about meeting people in this game, playing online. The first time I got the perfect solo in Flyleaf Still Sick, or So Sick. Oh, man. The first time I got 100% on an expert guitar song was So Sick by Flyleaf. Or I'm So Sick. I forget the actual name of it, but it's Flyleaf. Go Flyleaf. So, like, it's just awesome looking at this game and just doing that. I also did the Endless Set List at one point, and unfortunately that saved data is gone, so I might have to do it again at some point. But this is a game that defined me musically, and it opened me up to my vocals, and it opened me up to just learning how to play other instruments and wanting to play more in a rock band and stuff. And this is one game that I haven't touched in years, but I know I could pick it up, and it would take me a couple seconds to get back into the flow of it, but I could play it, and that's a reason why I'm probably going to get carpal tunnel in my fingers when I'm older. It's definitely because of this game. But Rock Band / Guitar Hero, but definitely Rock Band #1 because I have like over 3,000 songs on Rock Band 3. That's not even a joke, I actually do. And of course, number 9 is going to be Spyros Adventure for Skylanders. Because the biggest thing is that 2 big things. One, first of all, this is Crash the Skylines. I'm a Skylander YouTube channel. If it wasn't for this game, this channel legitimately wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be doing this right now. And on top of that, I literally got this game under the one notion that it's either going to continue my childhood or ruin my childhood. Because when I first seen Spyro in the game, I thought he looked ridiculous. And I still think he does. But it's a different Spyro. There's 3 different Spyros. There's Spyro Reignited Chosen Spyro, Legend of Spyro, and Spyro's Adventure Spyro. They're 3 different things. 3 different timelines that are completely irrelevant to each other. And when I got this game, I got it with him and Gil Grunt and Trigger Happy, and I played it, and I was like, this is a pretty fun dungeon crawler game. And little did I know it would turn into basically a career for me, where I got my first ever viral video on the internet because of it. I still can't believe that video went viral. Shout out to Headrush for being in my viral video. Wait till you see that on CF Hours, probably out by now. But anyways, this game literally redefined my life. When it first came out, I thought it was just a regular game, and it wasn't until Trap Team where I branched away from my old channel into Skylanders because I thought it was going to go over big, and the channel slowly grew, and to this day, it's now the most success I've ever had on YouTube. In my 13 years of doing this, it's crazy that it took this long, and it only took this game to get to where I am. And if that doesn't define me, I don't know what does. So literally, Spyros Adventure is the reason that I'm here right now doing this video, the reason I'm still collecting and playing and loving what I do, and this is the reason why. And it was only 10 years ago this game came out, so anything can happen within a few years. It's crazy to think that. But yeah, this is definitely number 1. or number 9, or whatever you want to call it on my list. So yeah, that's the 9 games that define me. If you guys agree with me, if any of these are the same, let me know in the comments below. I hope this video wasn't too drawn out. Probably was though, knowing me. And let me know in the comments your 9 games that define you if you had to pick any. And again, try to stay from only one franchise. So if you have Skylanders, only pick one Skylander game. For me, like, I think Swap Force in a way kind of defines me too, because of the fact that that's when I started collecting. But Spyros Adventure is literally the reason I even started playing the game, so come on now. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you next week for another awesome video. This was very different, but I hope this kind of branches open to knowing me a little bit more, knowing why the way I am, the way I am. And now I don't speak normal words, and why you see like certain things in my life and you're just like, oh, I didn't know he was a Assassin's Creed fan, and then you find out why. So I've been playing it literally since I was a youngster. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next week for another awesome video. Y'all mean the world to me, don't ever forget it. But as always, I bid you farewell.